After a couple more annoying battles, it was finally time to face Cypher's 4th admin and head scientist, Ian, which is oddly spelled like employer identification number. His team is nasty. Confuse Ray on 3 of them, Toxic on 2, and Rain Dance on 2 to set up for boosted Surfs, Hydro Pumps, and 100% accurate Thunders from Lantern and Shadow Raikou. The battle started disastrously. I forgot Altaria knew Ice Beam, so I let Flygon take massive damage from it. Flygon was faster and could 2-hit KO with Dragon Breath, so I used Ampharos's turn to heal Flygon and attacked with it. But Huntail with Swift Swim from the rain that it set up on turn 1 outsped and confused Flygon, who of course hurt itself, then took massive Ice Beam damage again, and was frozen. There was a lot of yelling during this battle. I used my only full restore on Flygon and tried the same thing again, expecting Huntail to confuse Ampharos. And instead, it confused Flygon again, and it hurt itself again, and then it died to Ice Beam despite not doing so before. Why did the Huntail target Flygon with Confuse Ray twice in a row? Was it predicting a switch? That's crazy! The end result is that I'm now down Flygon and used up my only full restore, and I have not KO'd a single one of his Pokemon. I'm not gonna go through the turn-by-turn of this nightmare battle. While I was able to claw things back mostly, it was extremely not fun the whole time. I forgot about Volt Absorb on Lantern. Jumpluff was uselessly weak, meaning I could not KO Lantern. Confusion and Paralysis from Thunder brutalized me. Lantern and Raikou obliterated my team with Hydro Pump and Thunder in the rain, and I got an unlucky crit against Raikou, which I did not want. I realized I needed to catch Raikou to have any chance of winning this battle, but unlike the first 2 beasts, it escaped several throws. Eventually, I was forced to revive Flygon, and with it as the last Pokemon standing against Lantern and Raikou, Raikou KO'd itself with Shadow Rush Recoil. I reset the game, furious. Like, oh my god, this has ruined my day! This has ruined my day! This battle was a colossal failure on all fronts. I definitely made mistakes, absolutely. I forgot about Ice Beam, and I underestimated Lantern. But I also got exceedingly unlucky. Raikou was never caught, despite being either asleep or extremely low HP and paralyzed for every throw. I critical hit it when I did not want to. Huntail Confuse Rang an already confused Flygon slot didn't make any sense and screwed me over. Speaking of confusion, during the 9 times one of my Pokemon could have attacked or hurt itself in its confusion, they hurt themselves 7 times. 7 out of 9 times hurting themselves when the chance is 50%. As you can tell, I was very salty about this battle, so I didn't play for several days after that. But when I did go back, I realized I needed 2 things to get past this battle. First, I needed more defense, so I went to the Under Pokemart and bought a Light Screen TM for Espeon and Protect TMs for several others. The other was more power, so I went back to the old reliable strategy that I had been forced to abandon due to levels creeping up. Hyper Mode, Shadow Rush. But this time, I would use a new, higher level Shadow Pokemon, Granbull. With its 120 base attack, this thing is set up perfectly to crush things. In attempt 2, I led with Espeon to set up screens and Ampharos to lightning things. Ampharos Quick Claw Thunderbolted the Golbat, Espeon set up Light Screen, and Lantern set up the Rain. The next turn, Ian confused both of my Pokemon, so after that, I full healed Ampharos with Espeon's turn and attacked. And he double Confuse Ray targeted the same slot again. But at least this time, I broke through and KO'd Huntail. Against Lantern and Altaria, I double swapped to Granbull and Jumpluff, and thankfully dodged a Hydro Pump that probably KO'd Granbull. The next turn, I put Lantern to sleep, and fantastically, Granbull entered Hyper Mode immediately. Over the next few turns, Granbull took down both Lantern and Altaria while dodging 2 Thunders from Raikou. Once it was 2v1, I brought Jumpluff back in, but it eventually fell. Things were starting to get dangerous though, as Raikou was using Shadow Rush far more often than last time. but I finally caught it with the 7th throw. Yeah! Yes! Oh, thank God that's over. Raikou immediately went on the team because it's a pretty straightforward upgrade to Ampharos. I then headed to Mount Battle to do a lot more boring grinding to try and get Suicune and Raikou purified, and the team leveled up because, again, they were already low compared to Ian. I did that for a while, and then decided to run through Pyrite Coliseum a few times. The battles didn't offer much in the way of experience, but the prize money was helpful. Yet, even after 2 hours of doing these things, Raikou hadn't even lost 2 segments of its heart gauge. Remember, once you remove 2, you find out the Pokemon's nature, and then you find out what purification methods are the most effective. And that's what I was trying to get to. I maybe should have just used the Time Flute, but I was saving it. So I finally bought some cologne massages to get it over the hump and find out its nature, and the Raikou is adamant. That is the worst possible nature for a Raikou. It is lowering special attack, its main stat, and boosting physical attack. Do you know what physical moves it knows in this gen? Quick attack. Quick attack and nothing else. This got me thinking about natures in general, and so I started looking at the rest of my team and made some more terrible discoveries. My Entei is Jolly. Lowering special attack, boosting speed. Great nature for an Entei in Gen 4 and onward when it can have physical fire moves, but all fire moves are special in Gen 3. And then I see that the Flygon is modest, which boosts special attack, lowers physical attack. So its dragon moves are better, but its ground moves, including the earthquake I wanted to teach it, get worse. This means that 3 of the 6 Pokemon I wanted on my final team had natures that lower their primary offensive stat. I don't know if I have ever been this unlucky with Pokemon natures, and even if I had, in all the other games, I can just catch another wild one. But in Coliseum, there's 1 of each Pokemon. And even if I wanted to save before and catch it and then see what its nature is, and if it's bad, reset and do it again, 1, that sucks. Catching them is really hard, but also, again, you cannot see the nature when you obtain the Pokemon. Frankly, I think it's insane that they didn't just set the nature of the Shadow Pokemon to always be the same. The Gen 3 handheld games do that for in-game trades, and Coliseum should have done that too. Also, as a bonus spit in the face, my Hariyama was Rash, boosting special attack, which it would not use, and lowering special defense. So it's just a simply harmful nature. Back to Raikou though, it goes beyond the nature. Let me show you how bad this Raikou was. Look at its level 40 special attack. It's 88. The Ampharos, only 1 level higher, had a special attack of 112. They both have base 115 special attack. Now, to be fair, the Ampharos has EVs at this point while the Raikou does not, so that's gonna inflate its number a bit. But I plugged Raikou's info into an IV calculator, and it said that its special attack IV was either 3 or 4. IVs range from 0 to 31. This nightmare Raikou that took 2 attempts to capture and is purifying at a snail's pace is terrible. Also during this process, I found out that Shadow Pokemon don't actually gain any experience until the first 2 bar segments are gone. Which means Raikou, after 2 hours, hasn't gained any. Oh, I hate everything about this stupid cat! But I will say, this did reinvigorate me to go get the Ho-Oh, because if I can obtain it and then put it away in a box, then it won't create any more Raikou. The Pokemon will just die. And I can live with that because of how mad I am at Raikou. That's not fair. It's not all Raikou, it's just this one. Since Ampharos was far stronger offensively, was comparable in all other stats but speed, something I could somewhat solve with the Quick Claw, and I now had a personal vendetta against Raikou, I boxed the stupid cat and brought Ampharos back.